and all 4 qualifiers advancing to the quarters. France and Spain later at 4 Eastern here on ESPN2. Serbia, Brazil coming up. And yesterday, the United States and Lithuania advancing to the semifinals tomorrow in Barcelona, 3 Eastern time on ESPN. Let's take a look at our starting lineups for tonight's game, and we'll start with Brazil. You probably recognize Leandro Barbosa, Anderson Varejão, Thiago Splitter, 3 of the 4 NBA players on the Brazilian roster. And from Serbia, Fran, they've got a very experienced backcourt led by, you've already pointed out, Milos Teodosic.
Yep, Stefan Markovic, also a point guard. They handle the ball for Coach Djordjevic and do it very well.
As we said, these teams were both in Group A. Brazil went 4-1 in the group. The only time they lost was against Spain. Serbia went 2-3. Their first meeting, Fran, was probably the game of the tournament so far.
Brazil led by 14 at the half. Serbia stormed back in the third on a 32-12 run. Brazil in the fourth quarter put the game away, but not before it went down to the wire. And you see Marquinhos, with a big 21-point game for Coach Magnano, the head coach of this Brazilian Renaissance.
Well, Brazil is kind of playing with house's money. They are the host nation for the 2016 Olympics in Rio in a couple of summers, so they get the automatic qualifying spot. But this has been a team on the rise. They want to win this thing.
Well, they do. And again, Coach Magnano, the head coach, came from Argentina, has built a good, solid program from top to bottom, youth level, to these guys, many of them who play in the NBA now.
Brazil in the green and gold uniforms. It'll be Miroslav Radulica and Thiago Splitter to jump center. Our officials from Mexico, Ukraine, and Steve Anderson, the American official. He's going to actually throw the ball up here, is heading into his second year as an NBA official coming this fall. Underway in Madrid. The host nation, Spain, later to take on France. What do you expect in this first match?
Both teams heavy-duty pick and roll. 2 outstanding guards. Both have inside games as well.
Varejão kicks it out to Huertas. Point guard for Brazil. Little jump pass, and Varejão from the perimeter gets the Brazilians going.
Good execution right there. Used the whole clock. Tried to get that ball inside the splitter. Varejão with plenty of room.
How much of an advantage will it be for the backcourt of Serbia? They're much taller guards, both at about 6'5" at the point and off.
Good point. First game, they tried to post Teodosic early, but this time Barbosa starts on him instead of Huertas.
Knocked out of bounds, a 2-0 Brazil lead in the opening moments.
Teodosic is a guy that plays the game at a slow pace. And that's good because he gets to really see the floor.
Bielica finding Radulica for the basket.
This young guy, Bielica, drafted by the T-Wolves a couple years ago. To me, he's one of the underrated players in this tournament. At 6'9", 6'10", he can handle the ball, make plays like a guard.
Brazil, which knocked off Argentina in its round of 16 game. Leandro Barbosa having a nice tournament, gives it to Splitter, and we'll have a pushing foul on Radulica, the first foul of the quarter, and first against Radulica.
Good ball movement here. You see Bielica dropping it down to Radulica, a young man who played for the Milwaukee Bucks last year. He was involved in a trade a couple weeks ago with the Clippers. He's been since released and looking for a job either in the NBA or certainly in Europe.
This is Marquinhos Vieira with the floater.
Yes. This is a guy that played in the NBA as a young player, Mark. He wasn't ready when he came over and played with the New Orleans Hornets, but at 6'9", he really has become a good player late in his 20s.
Foul on the three-point shot by Teodosic will put him at the line. Barbosa called for the foul.
You know, Serbia's mix and match their lineups. You see an easy call there. Teodosic is being guarded by Barbosa, which is a good matchup for Brazil, unless you get Barbosa in foul trouble.
Barbosa, the leading scorer for Brazil, the only double-digit scorer so far in the tournament at 13 points per game. Neither of these teams particularly good free throw shooters. Serbia only 67% in the tournament, while Brazil a touch lower at 63%. But a good start for Teodosic, 6'5", playing in Russia the last very rich contract, almost 6 million euros, playing for CSKA.
Yeah, he's a guy that could play in the NBA, but he chooses really to be a star in Europe. Former EuroLeague MVP, very, very good in the pick and roll, great vision. This guy has it too. We'll see Huertas off pick and rolls today, make a lot of noise.
Splitter on the post up, nice move inside, ball taken off the rim.
Now you look at Bielitsa at 6'10", handle the ball.
Markovic will settle things down for Serbia, like having 2 point guards on the floor. Now attacks the rim and scores.
You know what they did right there? They saw the switch, Splitter and Markovic, talking about a quick guard. Splitter usually gives ground and can guard the rim. That time Markovic snuck by him.
Vieira lining up for 3, tied at 7.
Really has improved his shooting since we saw him in his cup of coffee in the NBA. 38% behind the arc this year.
Plays professionally in Brazil, and you talk about the scoring, a 20 points per game scorer as Teodosic hits a triple.
You and I have been excited about this game because we know it's not going to be the kind of blowout we've seen from Team USA. Both of these teams, well coached, have played against each other often, many times individually and as teams in international play.
Splitter thought about the pass, takes to the rim. Varejão's tip not there. And while the United States has been bludgeoning its way to the semifinals, it's been kind of a bloodbath in Group A. They took out all of Group B in the round of 16. And 2 teams who had an outstanding game last Wednesday. Kalinic jump pass with the shot clock at 8. Bielitsa with a hand in his face. Here's Markovic from on top. And Splitter has the board.
One of the things I want you to watch early in this game, Splitter's very good in pick and roll at what we call the short roll. So he'll screen, open up at the foul line, catch it, and then make plays from that high post. Call that a short roll as opposed to the long roll to the rim. He's very, very crafty there.
Ball went off the foot of Kalinic. Shot clock at 14 on the inbound.
I'm excited because these teams know how to play.
Interior pass. Rule tipped out of bounds.
See, Radulica gets his hand on it. Marcelinho plays his basketball in Barcelona, one of the best guards in Europe.
Varejão had a couple seconds maybe to put the ball on the floor, but chucks it up and scores.
Second most happy guy in Cleveland to see LeBron come home is Andy Varejão.
Next to Kyrie?
Well, I think, yeah, I'd say so, both of them.
Here's Splitter, a really good matchup, and they'll call the foul on Splitter. That'll be number 1 on the San Antonio Spurs, the first Brazilian to win an NBA championship this past summer.
Well, he's had so much international experience. Splitter on this team, as you see Marquinhos knock down the long 3. Splitter's been a part of this program since the 2002 World Championships when he was 17 years old. Varejão, in fact, was 19 on that team.
And Varejão with the steal there for Brazil. Many of the players on both sides tied to Spanish professional basketball. Splitter, of course, played in Spain before he came over to San Antonio. Varejão had a year, I believe, at Barcelona at FC. And here's Varejão, offensive tip, a second try. Varejão, the motor underneath, much like Kenneth Faried on the United States side.
Well, he's played that way for a long time. He's got to stay healthy to help the Cavs. He's only averaged 53 games a season in his career. I like this kid. Tough kid.
Nikola Kalinic, just 22 years of age.
Wasn't drafted. He's a late bloomer, really athletic, can play inside and out.
Splitter posting and the kick out, and Huertas missing on the 3.
Kalinic had that dunk the other day against Greece that really inspired the Serbian team. Watch, how about that?
That's his move.
Yep. He creates indecision at the point of the screen. If you're going to be great in pick and roll, you've got to be able to create some doubt upon the defender and the man setting the screens defender.
Milos Teodosic with 8 of the Serbians' 14 points. Playing some nice defense as well as Barbosa gets loose underneath. Check it, Marquinhos.
Was with the New Orleans Hornets, then the Memphis Grizzlies. He really was too young at that time to help an NBA team. Watch Teodosic now.
Long 3 attempt by Bjelica. And Brazil coming the other way. And Kalinic with the slap of the arm will pick up his first personal. The second foul on Serbia in the quarter. And a look at Ruben Magnano.
And he's a gentleman. That was we call him the architect, right, of the Argentina golden generation. Lots of Olympic and world championship success. And he's taken over this Brazilian national team over the last, I guess 4 years or so. And they're in their own renaissance.
Won the gold medal at the 04 games in Athens for Argentina. As Bjelica's drive, no good. Brazil down 3, and a whistle from behind will stop play. That's on Stefan Markovic. And ESPN2 brings you USA Basketball Women's Showcase presented by Nike Thursday at 7 Eastern. The women take to the court inter-squad game as they take shape before heading over to Turkey for FIBA's Basketball World Cup. And you can also see it live on Watch ESPN.
And they're training down at the U.S. Naval Academy down in Annapolis.
Hoping to have a similar run to the men, which have gone to the semis and 1 win away from the gold medal game. Brazil unable to tie it on the long distance shot.
Couple subs in right now. Kirstic, former NBA player. Also Bogdanovic, the first round pick of the Phoenix Suns, who had a huge game in his last outing.
Pass inside, tipped by Varejao, 7 to shoot. Stefan Markovic, little push shot, short off the rim. Both teams playing some pretty good defense here. And again, the foul to stop the fast break, slow things down with fouls to give in the first.
Well, playing each other just a week ago, they know each other well. Both teams are system-type teams. And what you got to do is keep Brazil at a transition where they can play in the open court. Once you get them into the half court, then you can rely on your defense. You can load up against certain guys, but you don't want Brazil out in transition. And they're a problem because Barbosa and Marquinhos both can handle the ball like point guards.
Brazil 5 for 14. Great feed to a wide open splitter for the easy
pick and roll. You know, you're talking about a guy who hurt us. It's like Peyton Manning picking up a blitz. He's seen this so many times. You know, Steve Nash calls it, got to have a solution for pick and roll defense. But the solutions don't happen without lots of reps.
Fourth assist.
Huertas has the reps.
Fourth assist, Fran, so far for Brazil in the game as Marquinhos picks up his first foul. That's number 3 on Brazil. Serbia is at the limit at 4. Let's take a look at this foul. And got tied up with Bogdanovic.
Yeah, Bogdanovic coming off what he called the greatest game of his career in international play against Greece the other day. Ironically, he had started the first 4 games for Coach Djordjevic. Now the last 3 he's come off the bench and maybe playing even better.
Alex Garcia just on the floor, the veteran. Called for his first, so both teams now at the limit in fouls with 2:28 to go in the first.
I like the flow of this game. Good defense, but both teams executing some good stuff.
Down the lane, Bjelica hangs and hits.
That's 6'10" right there. Only 26 years old in the prime of his career. Playing at Fenerbahce in Turkey.
Now the Serbian defense pushing the Brazilian guards deeper. Huertas kicks in the corner to Varejao, 6 to shoot. Varejao blocked from behind by Bogdanovic. So 2 to shoot on the inbound as Nene gets set to check in for the Brazilians, and Varejao wanted a foul.
Well, he uses the dribble, and by backing in, it allows defenders to come and help. And when you're that mechanical in the post, which we've seen a lot from these international big guys, using that bounce to get close to the rim, easy to come down and help or dig that ball out.
Timeout on the floor. There'll be 2 to shoot on the inbound. Serbia leading by 3. In Madrid, Serbia and Brazil playing for the first spot in the semifinals. Fran Fraschilla, good defensive effort by both teams early.
Agreed, and yet only 1 turnover between both of these clubs, so they are running their stuff, taking care of the ball. Hard to score because both teams have played sound defense.
Varejao gets fouled late in the shot clock beyond the arc. A terrible foul.
That is a dumb play by a veteran player and a great head fake by Andy Varejao. Kristic knows he's got to get a shot up. And then you see the violation of that principle of verticality.
It looked to me like the right foot was on the three-point line as well, so it would be only 2 free throws. Anderson Varejao, now 31 years of age, did play at FC Barcelona for 2 years before coming to Cleveland, where he has spent his first 10 NBA seasons, and of course went to the playoffs.
Exactly.
First 5 was before LeBron James exited for Miami the first time. And they are giving him 3 fouls, so I didn't see clearly, but obviously our officiating crew
had a better angle.
And we're betting in here that might have been the first time Kristic ever fouled on a 30-point attempt in his career.
Key for Andy Varejao, as I said, he's just got to stay healthy. He's had some freak injuries through the years in his career, but an energy guy. Oh, that's good basketball. See, he can't guard, but Bielitsa that far away from the basket. And yet Bielitsa can shoot the 3 too, so it's a tough matchup.
Foul number 1 on Anderson Varejao. We're going to look at it here.
Yeah, watch the, well, you see at the end there to reach in, but they isolated Bielitsa at the top, created plenty of space for him. We watched him 4 years ago as a 22-year-old on that Serbian team in Istanbul, and Coach Dusan Ivkovic, the veteran coach at that time. They had a bunch of these young guys, many of them now starting to grow up. You know, Serbia was lucky to get into the World Cup because they finished 7th in Eurobasket a year ago, and only 6 teams were to qualify at a Eurobasket. But Spain had the automatic bid as the host team, so the 7th place finisher got a bid as well. Serbia beat Italy.
First turnover by Brazil, but a nice job in the corner to keep that one alive. And Brazil will keep it here. Brazil ranked 10th in FIBA. Nice job by Alex Garcia, the 34-year-old.
That's a veteran team. You see Marcelo Machado at 39.
Oh.
6 of these guys played back in 2002. That's 12 years ago.
Nene from the Washington Wizards circling in the lane. Serbia picking up the tempo here. And how about Bielitsa taking it to the hole?
This is what he does. I mean, he makes plays. He can handle it. He can shoot it. He can drive. He's a really good passer, too.
As you said, listed at 6'10". Very skilled at his size. Final 40 seconds to go in the first quarter.
Nice.
Varejao sells the fake well, and he'll get 2 free throws, both teams over the limit.
Nice find by Huertas. Andy Varejao snuck behind the defense. Defense was worried about the pick and roll out top.
It's going to be number 2 on Nemanja Bielitsa. You talked about the injuries for Varejao as Neto looks on the Brazilian bench, and Teodosic going to come back on the floor with Stefan Brčević. So wholesale changes for Sasha Djordjevic. You talked about Ivkovic, who left the Serbian team, veteran head coach, and Djordjevic taking over, another one of those Yugoslavian stars from back in the late 80s and early 90s.
Yes, was a terrific player for first the Yugoslav national team, then the Serbian national team. You know, if you're coached, Serbian coaches, coaches from the former Yugoslavia, they're like college coaches in that they're the king. They're like, you know, you think of a tough, hard-nosed college coach like Tom Izzo or Jim Calhoun, and they're not even as friendly because they don't have to recruit. They're just tough, hard-nosed. You see Bogdanovic with the post-up score inside. Bogdanovic is going to stay over a couple more years, but he's a good, I don't know if he's a point guard or a two guard, but at 6'5", he's really versatile.
A 1 second difference, shot clock and game clock in the first quarter.
Got to push.
Final shot for Serbia. A little runner from the corner off the rim from Stefan Jovic. Miloš Teodosic, 8 points. Anderson Varejao with 8. Serbia the lead after 1. Back in Madrid, Serbia with a 4-point lead over Brazil, playing for a spot in the FIBA Basketball World Cup Final Four against the winner of Spain and France, coming up a little bit later today here on ESPN2. Frank Fraschilla, I'm Mark Kestisher. Nenad Kristic with the turnaround in and out.
A little surprised we haven't seen Raul Neto so far at point guard.
It's going to be the secret weapon today after his big performance.
Was really the man of the hour down the stretch of that game against Argentina.
Nene with the kick out. And a three-pointer good from Alex Garcia.
That elbow starts in Madrid and it ends up in Granada, but he can really shoot it. That is a weird-looking left-handed shot, but effective.
Three-pointer in and out. Kristic went for the rebound. And here comes Brazil with a chance to take the lead early in the second. These teams had a wild affair 1 week ago today in Granada. Out of bounds.
Hey, give Barbosa credit. Hurt last year, played sparingly in terms of games with the Celtics. He's having a really good tournament for Brazil. He's getting his mojo back, his quickness, explosiveness. Guy's been a double-figure scorer his entire NBA career.
Called the foul on Bogdan Bogdanovic, his first. And it'll be Marcelinho Huerta setting up the Brazilian offense.
Oh, good look.
Garcia, the lefty three, again hits, and Brazil has the lead. Their first since it was 4-2.
When you're a point guard in pick and roll, you can't just be concerned with the two defenders at the point of attack. You got to survey the floor. That time he found Garcia all the way over in the other corner. That's good vision. Count it.
Teodosic hitting, picking up where he left off to start this game.
Yeah, he's a big-time shooter. I'd say in this tournament, 70% of his attempts are behind the arc.
Brazil did a nice job defending the entire possession, but then Teodosic, he's so slick getting away.
And he's not quick, you know, he plays the game at his pace. So many young guards in pick and roll play too fast, and they don't give themselves time to survey the court. He's able to make plays. We've seen him get into the lane. Look, nobody helps out. No switch, open look, handoff.
Miloš Teodosic.
Making a lot of money.
And it was 4 years ago, hit a three-pointer at the end to upset Spain in the FIBA World Championship in Turkey.
There's that pick and roll. Look at that.
Nene loading up but not able to finish. And a loose ball foul against Anderson Varejao. That'll be number 2 on Varejao.
Huertas threw that pass through his legs. And Nene just came up a couple inches short. You know, Huertas is at the peak. He's really at the, he's already hit his peak in Europe, and he's starting on the downside of his career. But still really effective. Plays less minutes than he did as a young player.
Bogdanovic cutting down the lane. What a beautiful play by the 22-year-old. Lively crowd at the Palacio de Deportes in Madrid.
Watch the pick and roll. How do they play it?
They switch. Huertas missing on the floater. Radulica against Nene. Contact doesn't fall. Out of bounds, going the other way. And a reminder, the 2014 FIBA Basketball World Cup continues later today, 4 Eastern time in Madrid. The host country, Spain, against France. And tomorrow, the first semifinal from Barcelona, Team USA against Lithuania. All games available live on Watch ESPN.
You know, I think, Mark, the last 6 times Lithuania and the United States have played, if I'm not mistaken, I don't have my notes in front of me, I think 5 of those games were less than double-figure wins for Team USA, which, given the level of competition so far for them, you know, that's a big deal.
Garcia, that pops in and out. 4 years ago, they played in the semifinals as well, and a whistle is Teodosic trying to get up court. Garcia commits his second personal. It was Kevin Durant who had the big semifinal to beat Lithuania 4 years ago.
And how about the final?
Yeah.
The first 3 shots he
Turkey
hit were from across the Bosphorus.
That's right. The river that separates Europe and Asia right through Turkey.
Or is that a sea? I'm not sure.
Might be the Bosphorus Sea. We're going to have to pull out the Geography 105 today. Nene charged with, check it, I think they got Barbosa on that one, his second. Number 2 on Leandro Barbosa.
You know,
Leandrino.
Yeah, Radulic is having a good tournament. Didn't get many minutes, and you see Huertas is going to get a rest, and Neto, Raulzinho, young player who's property of the Utah Jazz. Radulic, I watched him as a very young player, was very immature. And you could tell by the amount of teams he's been on and his travels through Europe, but you know, he can be a third center on an NBA roster. I haven't had a lot of contact with him in recent years, so I don't know how much he's matured, but
well, they had 16 in the round of 16 game. Their leading scorer at 14.5 points per game. And missing the shot that time, Guilherme Giovannone just checking in.
Giovannone had a big game against Serbia. And now last week, that thing went wide right.
They're waiting for the official to make the motion.
That was the holder's fault. That was a bad hold or a snap.
Shake that one off and live to kick it again.
And Giovannone hit a couple really big threes early in that game against Serbia.
Bielitsa not getting the friendly roll. Marquinhos Vieira brings it up for Brazil.
See, Vieira at 6'10" can make plays as well. Good matchup.
Pretty good ball handler for his size. Had it tipped out of bounds. Last touch off the hands of Vieira going to Serbia as Nemanja Bielitsa on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, 2 6'10" guys that have been handling the ball a lot. And Bielitsa, all ball right there.
Just clipped it. Really good replay there, and an even better call by the baseline official. Tight affair from the start. Teodosic pushed out by Giovannone. 6 to shoot. Takes him off the crossover and lays it in with a left hand. An array of moves.
You look in a dictionary under Crafty, and you'll find his picture, because he's not blessed with great speed, but when you're great with the basketball, you can make the ball go where you want it to go.
8 straight points by Serbia, their biggest lead of the game at 6. Neto won't get the roll. Tipped out, though. Goes to Nene. The pump fake and the score. Nice stop by Giovannone on the baseline.
And there it is. Giovannone keeps it alive, and Nene finishes.
And so the run ends for Serbia. The Brazilian fans enjoy, and we've got a timeout called by Serbia in Madrid. Serbs by 4. It was a seesaw affair 1 week ago. Brazil defeated Serbia 81-73. They blew a 16-point lead, and then Serbia blew a 7-point lead. And right now, the Serbs enjoying the 4-point spread with 4:50 to go in the first half, our first quarterfinal in Madrid. Bielitsa off the glass. Varejao back in the game, tips it out, and here comes Neto and the Brazilians. And he's fouled by Teodosic, who didn't like the call. That's his first.
Neto coming off that 21-point game against Argentina. Watch him throw his body into the defender. Not much there. Teodosic, that's not the first time he's disagreed with an official in his career.
Had a good start so far in this ball game today, as Neto shoots the first of two and misses. Milos Teodosic,
27 years old. He's really one of the kings of European basketball right now. Don't really ever see him coming to the NBA. He's got a great life over here. And
you surprised? Didn't give it a shot?
Some guys just like the fact that they can be, you know, a multi-dimensional player. I think of Rudy Fernandez with Spain now. He was a role player in the NBA, known for his shooting and some of his athletic dunks, but in Real Madrid, he's like the Kevin Durant or LeBron James of the ACB. So some guys love that, and they live in some of the greatest cities in the world.
Teodosic, hardly any room, shooting late in the shot clock. And he's doing all right at CSKA Moscow. 3 years and almost 6 million euros, which is probably about, what, $10 million?
I'd say, yep, $9 or $10 million, yep.
Saved on the end line by Nemanja Bjelica. Bogdanovic trying to go inside to Radulica, and Nene gets called with the grab, his first.
And this guy, Coach Djordjevic, you know, we were talking earlier, he had like a 9-game cup of coffee with the Portland Trailblazers, but a good job by Radulica to do his work early and sit down in the post before Nene could be established defensively.
I had to go back into my NBA register to check that out. 9 games in 95 for the Portland Trailblazers. Bogdanovic overshooting the rim there.
But he was a feisty, tough player, and he coaches the same way.
Once had a 41-point game at Eurobasket in the mid-90s as Nene scores. He's got 4. I was doing my research on Sasha Djordjevic. Serbia and Montenegro, they were the combined team of 98 and 2002 in FIBA. Divac, Stojakovic, and Djordjevic, those were the main guys.
Yep.
Bogdanovic, well defended by Nene. Down court, Vieira's got a seam and lays it in. Marquinhos, Brazil has taken the lead. 7-0 run for Brazil. Timeout in Madrid. 3:21 left in Madrid. First half, Brazil has taken the lead over Serbia 30-29. We mentioned, Fran, that these teams played only a week ago. And what's the key here when these two teams have seen each other so recently?
Well, both teams have scouted each other well. You can watch and tell they switch at certain points during the offense. And a game like this that is pretty evenly matched, getting easy baskets is critical. That's why Coach Djordjevic used one of those 2 first-half timeouts to try to stem this 7-0 run. You don't want this game to get away from you.
Kristic against Nene. Can't get in the kick out. 5 to shoot. Bjelica hangs. And Nene comes away with it. Brazil fell behind by 6 here midway through the second quarter. Taking the lead, and now they post up Varejao.
And Brazil's only loss so far has been to Spain.
Blocked by Kristic on the drive from Neto.
Kristic smelled that out. Neto tried to use the rim to protect. Kristic went to the opposite side.
Brazilian guards much smaller than their Serbian counterparts. And there's a block by Nene as Teodosic tries to get inside. And a touch foul by Nikola Kalinic. That'll be number 2 on Kalinic. That was the last foul to give in the quarter for Serbia.
See, there's that block on the other side of the rim. Usually that's a good place. And then Teodosic tried to go off the wrong foot and throw the timing of Nene's shot blocking ability off, but Nene held his ground.
Nene, who spent his first 10 years with the Denver Nuggets, last 3 with Washington, exciting team in the East in the playoffs, as Alex Garcia gets the roll.
He went
9 straight.
Yeah, he went right at Teodosic. Garcia, another one of those guys that played a little bit in the NBA early in his career with the Spurs and also the Hornets.
His 3-point lead, Fran, is the biggest so far for Brazil, and an answer from Nemanja Bjelica hitting from outside. So impressed with his game.
Yeah, he's got a versatile all-around game. Nothing he's doing today is a surprise. He's played this way throughout the tournament. Oh, they're going inside again. Offensive foul.
Marquinhos picking up his second.
Watch Marquinhos. He discards with that left arm. First to three by Bielitsa. Good rhythm shot.
Only the third turnover for Brazil as we come down to the final 90 seconds of the half in a tied game. Teodosic fouled on a three-pointer by Alex Garcia. And that is going to be number 3 on Garcia.
You know, you get so worried about leaving this guy open that you close out too hard. And Garcia, veteran player, knows better. Problem is, if you leave Teodosic wide open,
he might nail that one.
Yeah, he's likely to nail it.
Well, it's the second time he's going to shoot 3 free throws. He had all 3 early in the game. And a chance to put Serbia ahead. Serbia just 3-3 in this tournament. They went 2-3 in the very tough Group A, losing to Brazil and Spain, a 1-point loss to France. And then as the 4th seed in Group A, they got the top seed in Group C, Greece, which was unbeaten and probably had their best defensive effort in the final 2 quarters of that round of 16.
They really did. Greece had, I think, overachieved in Group B and had a great run.
Take a look at the 2 guards going, Alex Garcia and Milos Teodosic.
Teodosic 15 already, and he's a scoring point guard. He can run an offense. He's terrific. He's a magician in pick and roll. Can score points when he needs to as well. He's going to get a rest right now.
He only had 7 free throw attempts in the entire tournament, and he's taken 6 on 2 fouled 3-point attempts. 6 straight Serbian points. They've got a 3-point lead. This is Raulzinho Neto, the 22-year-old Brazilian. 6 seconds to go in the shot clock. Got to shoot on the baseline. Little step back deep 2.
Outstanding defense on that possession. They just shrunk the court and kept the white jerseys in the paint.
Serbia ranked 11th in FIBA. They came in 4th place 4 years ago. Looking to get a spot in the semis. Kristic against Nene. The righty sweeping hook gets the roll. And now Brazil will call time after 8 straight points called by Serbia. So timeout in Madrid. Take a look at the teams remaining. 2 already advancing, United States and Lithuania tomorrow in Barcelona. We still have Spain and France at 4 Eastern on ESPN2. And right now, Serbia with the lead over Brazil in a back-and-forth affair.
It's been a game of runs in this second quarter. Brazil went on their little run, and now at the end of the half, Serbia on a 9-0, 8-0 run.
France and Spain should be a lot of fun. The Spanish, of course, on home soil be our first chance to really get a good look at the team that many think are going to give, if the USA can get there, a great test on Sunday in the gold medal game.
Palacio de Deportes, where we're watching this game from today. It will be electric.
In Madrid, a turnover. Number 4 against Brazil as the Serbians will bring it up. Ten seconds to go in the half. Bogdanovic against Nene. Gets off a 3 and he misses it all. And Serbia on the late run with the lead. 16 for Milos Teodosic. Serbia with the halftime lead over Brazil by 5. Fair after 1 half in Madrid. Serbia leading Brazil 37-32 with Fran Fraschilla. I'm Mark Kestisher. Let's take a look at our first half highlights.
Seesaw, a great point. Game of runs in the first half. Both teams attacking early. Marquinhos from behind the arc. Radulica inside for Serbia. Andy Varejao around the rim scoring. This guy's been impressive. Nemanja Bjelica. And then, of course, Milos Teodosic has led the way for Serbia.
16 points for Teodosic. Let's take a look at the stats. Rebounding, Brazil's had a little bit on the offensive end, has had the advantage. Turnovers, though, very low in the first half.
Both teams executing very well. Defense has been good. I'm going to be interested to see who guards Teodosic when Serbia has the ball. Barbosa with 2 and Garcia off the bench with 3 fouls.
They start with Varejao. Nice move inside. Raduljica hits it off the rim, and here come the Serbs.
All right, it's going to be Huertas. And in that first meeting, Huertas was posted often early.
Huertas, who did not pick up a foul in the first half. Markovic with the drive. Saves. Nice head fake and dish, and Raduljica loading up with the jam for the biggest lead of the night.
265 pounds right there, 7 feet.
A smile on the face as Barbosa is fouled on the way up. Now the question is, was that a shooting foul or on the floor?
He got it up quickly. I think it's got to be in the act. There you see the dunk by Raduljica.
Markovic picking up his second personal.
I thought Barbosa got that ball on his way up.
Brazil, such rich history of basketball in this tournament, dating back to its early origins in the 50s. And off an Olympic bid 2 years ago, trying to find it to the semifinals, but Bogdanovic finishing off the break that time, and the biggest lead extended to 9.
Bogdanovic, property of the Suns. He's getting a start in the second half.
12 straight points, bridging second and third quarters.
Serbia's done a good job of packing the lane. They're good in pick and roll defense.
Splitter finds Varejao, and he ends the run.
Remember we talked about Splitter. He's good in that mid-post. We call it the short roll. He makes plays out of that spot. Did it right there in pick and roll.
Bogdanovic, the number 27 overall pick in the last draft. Teodosic off the pick and roll. Raduljica knew he missed it, followed it up, and lays it in with a left hand.
Remember the third quarter in that last meeting, Serbia went on a 32-12 run.
And the third quarter has been big for Serbia in the tournament, outscoring their opponents 141-93. They're going to say that one was off the foot of Markovic. 7 to shoot for Brazil. That's the first time you feel in the game where not danger zone, but momentum really carrying one side over the other. Huertas tries to go behind the back, tipped across the baseline, and the shot clock at 3.
Yeah, what happens in pick and roll defense is you start to smell out what Brazil's looking for, and you watch this. You'll see the dunk here at the other end by Bogdanovic off the steal. Low clock.
Barbosa hoists a rainbow shot, no good. And Serbia will bring it up in transition.
See Teodosic, he's coaching the team without the ball. And they're trying to post up Huertas, which is what they did in game 1.
Bogdanovic finding the cutter. Raduljica fouled, shot no good, but he'll get 2, and that's going to be 3 on Anderson Varejao.
That play was set up because Teodosic, without the ball, realized that Serbia had a mismatch. Bogdanovic on Huertas took advantage of it.
Timeout on the floor in Madrid. Serbia enjoying the lead. Serbia leading by 9 with 7:19 to go in the third. And we recall a week ago, Wednesday, when these two teams met in group play, we had a serious Serbian run in the third quarter, but Brazil had a fourth quarter run in them on their way to the victory, 81-73. Marquinhos led the way that day with 21 points.
Similar today, really, when you think about it. We've had a number of 8-9-0 runs. And now it's up to Brazil to answer. Nene in early, and there you see the little recap of last week's game.
Teodosic already surpassing his point total in the first in the first half, and it appears we've had a technical foul called, we believe, on Anderson Varejao, as Raduljica misses on the first. Well, as we know from play in FIBA, not a lot is expected in conversation with officials. They can be quick.
Yeah. I'm surprised it was Raduljica shooting the free throws, because he's only a 70% foul shooter. Oh, these are the technicals right here. A little different.
One in reverse order. Marquinhos looking on from the bench as Ruben Magnano going to Nene early here in the third quarter. Sensing maybe he's needing a momentum shift.
Well, he needs to do something quickly, because Serbia has had the momentum to finish the half and to start the second half. So there were 2 technical fouls.
Oh, it's a big swing in the game. With all the technicals, shot by Milos Teodosic. We'll get clarification on who the technicals were called against. Anderson Varejao, at least one, perhaps one coming from the bench. There's a nice feed inside for the basket.
And that's great basketball. We've been talking about that mismatch. Huertas, Markovic at 6'5", and Teodosic just dropped it on him.
And Huertas answering on the other end for Brazil. Well, it's a tough matchup for Brazil, only because enhanced by the fact that Serbia's defense has been so outstanding today.
Coach Magnano's gone with Larry Taylor to guard Teodosic, maybe to give Brazil a spark. The Chicago native, the naturalized citizen.
Three-pointer shot, and good for Bogdan Bogdanovic.
They're happy in Phoenix. They may have to wait a couple years, but this young guy was the rising star of the EuroLeague, played at Partizan a year ago. He'll play in Turkey this year.
And he's got a nice NBA-friendly contract in Turkey as the call goes against Raduljica. He can opt out of that contract after his second and/or third seasons. So really locked in for 2 years.
Well, he makes great money. The Suns don't have to pay him. And as you have heard me say, the EuroLeague is AAA compared to the NBA, as compared to college basketball, which is AA baseball. So he'll play at a high level and mature as a young player, get paid well, and the Suns hopefully will see a more mature player when they get him in a couple years, if and when he comes.
Already looking so good at 22 years of age, at 21 points in the round of 16 win against Greece, and he's got it now. Markovic will shoot over Barbosa, no good.
That's the one Achilles heel of Markovic. He's never been a great shooter.
Great move by Barbosa, and Teodosic will use one of his fouls. He's now got 2. And the third team foul against Serbia in the quarter. Who does Brazil go to now when they need to get some offense moving?
Well, they're such a balanced team in this tournament, really. This guy's been their best scorer, Barbosa, but you really just need great ball movement, because once Barbosa gets going, Coach Djordjevic will make the necessary adjustments.
That's the first points for Leandro Barbosa in this game.
Watch Taylor. He'll try to harass Teodosic.
Fighting over the top of that screen. Teodosic moving on the 3. And Barbosa fouled by Bogdanovic, and that'll be the last foul to give in the quarter. Still plenty of time with 5:09 to go.
You just made a great point, because these FIBA players, they have the clock and the scoreboard in their head. They know how many fouls they have individually. They also know how many fouls the team has. So when Bogdanovic takes away a fast break, he realizes he's not going to put Barbosa on the line right there. Brazil now has Serbia in the bonus, so they should go inside.
Neto, the Brazilian youngster, can't hit. Tipped out. Teodosic has control. Serbia ran off the last 8 points of the first half and opening up a big lead here in the third as the defense steps away, and fortunate the three-pointer didn't go down.
Hey, remember, Mark, Serbia's only wins in pool play came against Egypt and Iran. Greece was the first quality win they've enjoyed here in Spain.
They're looking to take down Brazil, which has kind of looked like the third best team so far behind the United States and Spain so far in this opening week and a half. Taylor fouled. Radulica getting a hand. And coverage of the WNBA Finals continues Friday on ESPN2, 8 Eastern, presented by Boost Mobile. Phoenix up 2-0 in the best-of-5. Brittany Griner at 19 yesterday, looking to close out the Chicago Sky in Game 3, also available live on Watch ESPN. Been very impressive by Phoenix in the first 2 games.
How many players in the world at any level are more competitive than Diana Taurasi? Oh. Does she get it or what?
I think she got an elbow to the face last night and continued along, and Phoenix with another big win.
No, she just put her face in the way of somebody's elbows. How she looks at it.
Part of the defense.
Remember this guy? Larry Taylor, a big thrill for him. He got to play Team USA in Chicago, his hometown. He played at Missouri Western in the MIAA, a good D2 league. He's had a good career in South America, and he's been a naturalized citizen the last couple years.
5-time All-Star in the Brazilian League, number 7 in green, near corner. Bogdanovic with the rebound, and Taylor from behind got a piece, and that'll be his first foul. There's a good look at Larry Taylor.
Played at Rich Central High School, school that produced Kendall Gill, starred in the NBA, former Illini star.
Get our first look at Rafael Hetzheimer, 28-year-old coming in.
He's got some beef. He also can shoot the 3.
Markovic, nice dime for Kristic. Fouled on his way to the basket. Ball popped out. They want the basket to count, and it rules they will. Let's take a look at this.
Remember, once the ball, he goes through the net, so that's an easy call by the officials. Seen that happen a couple times in this tournament.
So no foul, just the basket counts on the interference. This is Neto around the screen from Nene.
See, everything's challenged in the lane. Pick and roll D's been good.
And they had nowhere to go that time.
Good pick and roll coverage so far in this third quarter.
Bogdanovic to Bielica, gets it back. Impressive on the defensive end for Serbia. For a team that went 2-3 in the toughest group. Late shot clock now. Teodosic with a hand in his face, knocks it in late in the shot clock.
Coach Djordjevic likes that, but that's not a surprise. This guy's got ice water in his veins.
A 20-point lead for Serbia.
Right now, Brazil's cracking, and they really don't have a go-to scorer.
It's going to go, I believe, on Bogdanovic. That'll be number 3. And we'll have free throws coming up for Brazil.
Now, this guy's done this so many times in European play, FIBA basketball. You mentioned the shot he hit to beat Spain in 2010 in the quarters. Put Serbia in the semifinals against Turkey, where they lost. And then Serbia lost to Lithuania in the bronze medal game.
There you saw his numbers pop up below 23 points. Has also done it at the free throw line. Shot a series of technical free throws. Also had 2 separate trips to the line where he had 3 free throws shooting threes. 10 of 10 at the free throw line for Teodosic today, as Barbosa splits the pair. Ruben Manano and his Brazilian coaching staff trying to find the answers. Still another 12.5 minutes to go in this quarterfinal. Kristic passing out to Kalinic. Kalinic finding Kristic for the basket.
That's good basketball. Anytime you drive baseline, you got to create outlets for your passer. Deep corner, middle of the rim. That time, Kristic parked himself right at the dotted, at that circle, the arc.
He's the captain of the Serbian squad, Nenad Kristic. Had a pretty good NBA career as well. Here's Barbosa trying to float one high off the glass. There's been hardly any good penetration inside against the Serbian D.
Gonna play through Kristic again.
Nene takes some baseline. What a move by Kristic.
Patience, took his time. He read Nene, and a good spin move.
31 years of age, averaged 10 points and 5.5 rebounds in all his years in the NBA with the Nets, Oklahoma City, and Boston. And an answer from Neto that time. I'd forgotten Kristic was in the Kendrick Perkins, Jeff Green deal between Oklahoma City and Boston.
Well, you're right. He had a good, 7-8 year run. This year he'll play in Turkey at Efes. Nice pass. That's what he does.
What can't that man do?
He'll play for his former coach of the national team. We talked about Dusan Ivkovic, the wily veteran. He'll play for Coach Ivkovic this year in Turkey. Reunited.
And a nightmare of a third quarter for Brazil with half a minute to go. Nene can't get the roll. The word I'm coming up with is carved. Serbia just carving apart Brazil in the third.
Well, this guy has orchestrated a great performance so far for much of three quarters, Teodosic.
Pick and pop this time, and
how easy is
Kristic knocking it down.
There are very few point guards in the world better at the pick and roll than Teodosic.
Barbosa sneaking one in there at the end of the third quarter. Serbia a 29-12 third quarter, 10 minutes from the semis. At the Palacios de Deportes in Madrid, Spain, where Serbia has a 66-44 lead headed to the fourth quarter. In the first quarterfinal in this half of the draw, Spain and France to come at 4 Eastern time here on ESPN2. And we had a clarification on all those technical fouls earlier in the third quarter, Fran. Fouls on Marcelinho Huertas and Thiago Splitter, plus there was a foul of Radulica, so that's why we had the 6 free throws consecutively, the last 4 by Teodosic.
5 points, but I don't know how much it will matter because of the way Serbia has played overall. You see the bracket, Serbia now firmly in control of this game, barring a Brazil comeback, which they pulled off a week ago.
France and Spain are waiting. Of course, the United States and Lithuania about 300 miles away in Barcelona, getting set for their matchup tomorrow in the semifinals. Quick shot by Garcia. Teodosic is on the bench after picking up his third foul. Splitter underneath. Boy, there's been nothing doing for the bigs of Brazil. Splitter and Varejao against the Serbs.
Well, you got Kristic at 7 feet, basically. Bjelica at 6'10", so similar length inside. Now, if you're Serbia, you just do what you've been doing. Run your offense.
Markovic for 3. Down it goes. And the Serbian lead advances.
That's huge. I mentioned not a particularly great shooter, but wide open look.
That's the third foul on Markovic.
Tough kid. Playing now in Spain. Been part of this program for a long time. All these guys have come up through the Serbian junior ranks, played a lot of FIBA basketball.
Varejao, the short baseline jumper. 12 points, 9 rebounds for Anderson Varejao.
You know, the beauty of watching teams like Serbia, Lithuania, Slovenia, Croatia, they're gonna fix that game clock.
And Steve Anderson, the American official.
The size of these countries and how much they love basketball.
And you think, especially in the former Yugoslavia, how many outstanding countries have been born from that independence.
Well, don't forget the former Soviet Union was made up of players from places like Lithuania, Ukraine, remember Sasha Volkov, Marcellonis, Sabonis.
Kalinic hitting the three-pointer there. Another youthful Serbian player coming up through the ranks.
Yeah, he's really improved the last couple of years. He was not on anybody's radar as a younger player.
Bergeron trying to find splitter amongst the defense of Serbia, and it's going the other way.
I mentioned earlier, Mark, how fortunate Serbia is to be here. Finishing 7th in Eurobasket a year ago, they only got the spot in the World Cup because Spain was the host country. It only would have taken 6 teams.
It is pretty amazing from where they've come to be able to play in this tournament, to end up being drawn into Group A with Spain and France and Brazil. And after a 2-3 group play to take on an undefeated Greece team, and now they got a chance to continue playing in Madrid, potentially against Spain. Whoa, Bogdanovic. Hitting that one from the outskirts of Madrid.
He's had that kind of season. First at Partizan, and now with the Serbian team. He had to play a lot of point guard this year because the starting point guard at Partizan was hurt, the Frenchman Leo Westerman, and it really developed his all-around game. But one thing he can do is shoot it.
He can shoot it, he can handle. We've seen that at his size. Body's tying up Alex Garcia and Bogdanovic. Call that one on Garcia. That's going to be his 4th.
Yeah, this is a collapse right now. You see Bogdanovic, Teodosic.
2 leading scorers for Serbia. I would think Jeff Hornacek might like to see him now.
Yeah.
Get him to the Valley of the Sun.
Got a good group of young guys there, especially in the backcourt.
Was invited to the national team last summer. Here's Kristic, tipped out by Splitter.
Right now, for Coach Djordjevic, you basically have 3 point guards out there. And that's what Brazil is basically resigned to having to do now, is shoot threes and try to hit the home run ball. I'm not sure it's going to happen.
What a turnaround. Brazil had a 3-point lead late in the first half. And right now they're enjoying a 29-point spread. And over on the Brazilian bench, really a look of how did this happen?
Yeah, 6-1 Brazil. Many people felt they were the 3rd best team in the tournament. We mentioned Serbia did not have a quality win in pool play.
And Kristic and some of the younger players down the bench.
We haven't seen Stimac yet, but he's a tough kid.
6'11" kid. Might see him before it's all said and done, and a whistle. Like Nikola Kalinic trying to get a hand in. Did he get Hetchmeyer, I think, trying to blow him up there, coming over on the closeout. Get called for that one. Number 1 on Rafael Hetzheimer.
Yeah, that look of frustration right now is simply because Brazil has played so well in this tournament. Felt like they could make some noise.
It's only the 4th turnover for Serbia. Here's Marcelo Machado in the game. Splitter's tip won't go. Hetzheimer finally gets it to go down. Well, you mentioned Machado at 39 years of age, still on the national team, number 4 in green.
He was one of the top scorers in that World Championship we talked about in Indianapolis back in 2002.
Great feed, high to low to Raduljica, who's got 10.
Right now, you've got 4 playmakers out on the perimeter for Coach Djordjevic and Raduljica inside, so they're going to control the tempo of this last 6 minutes or less.
Garcia trying to find Splitter. It stays with Brazil.
Now they've just got Brazil spread out.
See Machado flying by. I remember 4 years ago we had a good conversation. He was like the next Oscar Schmidt with all the scoring he did, the great Brazilian Hall of Famer.
Oh, he's had a great career. Been playing a very long time at 39.
Huertas the basket there. I had to go back and do my Oscar Schmidt study once again. 1974 to 2003. That was his professional playing career.
49,000 points, was it?
I think the highest scoring player in the planet, right?
I think it's 49,000 plus.
Yeah, almost 50,000.
Yeah.
49,700 points for Oscar Schmidt. Retired at 45 years of age. Teodosic gets a nice hug from Sasha Djordjevic. As Stefan Jovic will check in. Another basket missed by Brazil. Boy, Serbia's been deadly in the second half. 15 of 22 shooting. And they get you from so many different ways, whether it's a high-low or a pick and roll. Well, the shot clock.
You know what? They were one of the dangerous teams coming into the tournament. And frankly, they underachieved in pool play. Now, it was a very tough pool.
Let's take a look at how they got here. Check out this. They did open up 2-1. They played the weaker teams of Group A in the first three. That 1-point loss to France. And then after the 2 losses to the 2 top teams, they had to face the 5-0 Greece team in round of 16. So here they are going from facing a 5-0 to right now just about etching their names in the semifinals.
Yeah, looking that way right now. Teodosic really with a tremendous performance. Bogdanovic as well. One thing we've seen from this game, and we've seen it more from Serbia, obviously, as the game has gone on, but we mentioned this at the very beginning, is just how much fun it is to watch the ball move. And Serbia today has had tremendous ball movement in their offense.
A lane violation there. Thiago Splitter has really struggled at the free throw line in this tournament. He's about a 68% free throw shooter in the NBA, but only 45% so far. Yep. You know, I got to look at those Brazilian fans a short time ago, and it just all of a sudden you remember the horror of their loss in the FIFA World Cup in soccer in their home nation. And now the basketball team, they're staring at a huge deficit, but they'll automatically qualify for the Olympics in 2 years.
I guarantee you they took that loss in FIFA a lot harder than they'll take this.
There were some tears for a long time, and most of it were the rest of that match.
Little continuity now, use some clock.
Brcevic knocks it down. What a second half for Serbia. And a whistle down low.
And one of those stretch 4-men, Brcevic, 24 years old, playing in Spain. You see Giovannone, who's been around this team a long time.
Barbosa.
Leandro will be with the Golden State Warriors this year. They've strengthened that backcourt with Sean Livingston. Of course, Klay Thompson and Steph Curry have made their mark so far in FIBA World Cup play. You see the excitement of that bench.
Well, it's going to be fascinating to see the West, and of course, one would assume all the tension's gone with the Clippers. Doc Rivers, a long time signed as the coach and director of operations, essentially.
Yep.
And then we'll see what happens with the Lakers this year. Kobe Bryant coming back, and of course Pau Gasol now playing in Chicago.
Pau's been playing great. I know that doesn't excite Tom Thibodeau and Derrick Rose right now for the next 3 days, but both of those guys have mentioned how excited they are that Pau's at the top of his game.
And we'll get Pau Gasol against Nick Batum and the French, the reigning European champs, coming up in the next quarterfinal at 4 o'clock Eastern time. Let's take a look at exactly what Serbia's done tonight in this game against Brazil.
Well, you remember the big third quarter they had in the meeting last week, where they outscored Brazil 32-12. It's been similar in the second half today. Whatever adjustments Coach Djordjevic has been making at the half, been pretty good.
Looking for Stimac. Nice pump fake and score from Vladimir Stimac.
Big, strong kid. Started a couple games. He plays with a lot of energy. Always has a smile on his face.
Serbia's outscored Brazil 45-19 in the second half. Remember, they had the last 8 points of the second. So a 53-19 run. Hetschmeyer going up strong, had it knocked away.
Seeing Jovic in there now, another one of those young guards for Coach Djordjevic, 22.
Machado called for the foul there as Ruben Manano.
Yeah, he's done a terrific job. When he took over the job as the head coach of the Brazilian national team, he's basically got carte blanche to build the program from the ground up. And Brazil has some very good young players in their pipeline, even more so than, in my opinion, than Argentina does. So it's not just a national team, it's growing the Brazilian program from the ground floor up.
And you can't understate how big that win was for Brazil by 20 points over Argentina in the round of 16.
There's Stimac, big physical kid.
Against Hetschmeyer. Another possession for Serbia, 2.5 minutes away from reaching the semis. They lost to both Spain and France, depending on who comes out of that last quarterfinal. Only lost by 1 point to France. Nice little Euro step move, and again, the baseline protection, rim protection by the Serbians today.
You know, I don't know if it matters to Coach Arenga and the Spanish team. I think they were expecting, obviously, to see Brazil with the 4 NBA players. They handled Serbia fairly easily in the first meeting. But remember, Spain's got their own pressure on them to win in a building that they're very accustomed to playing in. Here you see that challenge at the rim. Who's that, Berchevich?
That was Kalinic.
Kalinic, who had the big dunk against Greece. You know, and I mentioned it the last couple of days, Spain had a golden road to winning the European Championship in 2007 and lost at home to Russia. So as much as it's a great home court, there's going to be a little pressure on them too the next 2 games.
And Marquinhos hitting there for Brazil, a 3. As the coaching staff going up and down the line, congratulations on an impressive 1 minute from now, quarterfinal victory.
This ensures that Serbia will play for a medal over the weekend.
Even a loss gets you in the bronze medal game. As Stimac finishes there. You can hear it from the guys on the bench.
I love that kid. Got a chance to be around him at the Euro camp. Many of these guys played there, and big fun-loving kid.
Well, it's always a great following by the Serbian fans. Nice move by Neto on the hesitation. And you can tell from Sasha Djordjevic, he wants him to play to that final buzzer.
We talk about a guy, you know, right now, there's so much pride swelling in his chest, but he just doesn't want to show it. Great sportsman, great ambassador for his country.
Serbia lost in the bronze medal game 4 years ago. And now 15 seconds away from the semifinals. What an impressive final 22 minutes as Sasha Djordjevic and Ruben Manano with a nice hug at center court. And Serbia with an 84-56 win led by Miloš Teodosic, who scores 23 points. Also went 10 for 10 on free throws, and the very impressive Bogdan Bogdanovic, 12 points and 6 boards as Serbia advances to the semifinals. And let's look at the brackets. We know the U.S. and Lithuania set for tomorrow's semi in Barcelona. Serbia advancing, and they'll face the winner of either Spain or France, which is coming up at 4 Eastern time here on ESPN2. Both teams Serbia lost to during group play. You can't say how big a win this is for the Serbians, and the Brazilians will be headed home knowing they've already automatically qualified for the Olympics 2 years hence in Rio. Sasha Djordjevic and Miloš Teodosic and the fans of Serbia enjoying this 84-56 win tonight. Up next, Fran will join Jonathan Coachman, fill you on today's news and highlights. 4 Eastern time, we will have Spain and France in the final quarter-final of the FIBA Basketball World Cup Championships. I'm Mark Kestisher. We thank you for watching. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.